You can still see the faces of that first group, because there is the most beautiful photo that was taken of that group on their bikes, and it was just joy. It really was. The look on these kids' faces is just absolutely priceless. There's probably a couple of kids who was in that very first group and had come to the school earlier in 2007, and he always looked really pale, he looked really washed out, his eyes were flat, and he just was there, but he wasn't there. And you could see that he wasn't there. And he didn't engage with school and like with his work, and he sort of was always on the fringe of the playground. And you just, when you looked at him, just got this feeling that one day he was just going to go away and never come back, and would people actually even notice? It was scary. Like you could see this little boy just almost disappearing in front of your eyes. He was the one I really desperately wanted to be part of this project. Other kids, got to nominate, but this one, he was getting in whether he put in a nomination. No, he didn't nominate for it. He didn't have the capacity or the wherewithal left to do it. And so he was asked would he like to be part of this project. And he said, yeah, he would like to be part of it. Well, it was just talk about the transformation of a child. He was very much a hands-on learner. He absolutely knew how to strip down a bike and knew how it all worked. So not only was he able to do his own bike, which he just thought was fantastic, like, he was going to do this bike and he was going to get to keep it, because he'd moved under difficult circumstances to Mildura under there was a family problem. But he became like one of the star assistants, and what he didn't know and what he couldn't do and what he couldn't show someone, well, he went from being somebody nobody noticed, really, like other kids noticed, to he was like the bike guru. He was the one who could help you fix it or help you sort it or help you, unwind it or do whatever. And he became this sort of, I don't know, not in a smarty way, but in a, oh, miss, he knows so much about that and he helped me do. And so what we saw within about six weeks is that who was really going great with the bikes was turning up in class and was starting to offer answers in class, and was actually starting to try to give his work a go in class, and actually finding, well, actually if you tried, you actually could do it, and getting lots of I suppose really quite positive feedback. So he grew in stature quite considerably. It was very interesting then to watch him when he actually got to the presentation of his bike. He didn't realise that with his bike we actually had got a little bit of extra sponsorship from a local builder to pay for new helmets. We gave them a helmet and a bike lock, and so because you couldn't give them a bike and then send them home without a helmet, and their folks might not have had the money to pay for that. So that morning he didn't realise he was getting this helmet, and he's gone and found an old one and put it on, and he got bitten by a redback. So, but he wasn't going to that hospital, he wasn't going anywhere. He turned up at school and he looked as white as a ghost. This little Aboriginal boy, he's looking pale as. He said to him, "You all right?" He goes, yeah, no, I'm all right. And we said to his dad, "Is he all right?" He goes, "We think he's been bitten by a redback. Does he really need to go to the hospital?" He goes, "I'm not going anywhere until I get that bike." And so, but his thing was, he was getting it, but he got to walk out in front of the school and present his bike. Well, it's the first time I'd ever been out in the front of the school to present anything to anyone. And here he was his bike. Here was he with his mates, and their bikes, and he'd been a really big part of it. So he gets his bike, and his, helmet, and his, bike lock and chain and whatever, and there, and, the whole school was there, and it's a really big deal, and then he wheels it out. Wouldn't even let Pete give him a lift home, and he wheeled his bike home, and then they went in the car to the hospital. And I've got something written here. I'll read it out to you. I'll just get it. So if you weren't sure what it meant to him, we were sure pretty soon after that. But he then became involved in the Hope Project the next year, and he'd refused to be involved in the first year, even though he was old enough. And he says, "I've come from a bad place to a good school. I feel happy here. I feel important and somebody. All the dots mean a bad place, and the big person is me coming out of there. Mildura Primary School has made me feel like I matter. So he's the one. He was the starfish, you know, we might not save all of them, but we got him. He didn't disappear, and that's what we were really afraid of. There's my one. There's my one.